I have two pair of batteries hanging from a thread. They are both the same weight and the same height, and I want you to notice what is going to happen when I start swinging them. I'm going to release it at the same time, and what should happen is that they move in exactly the same way. And indeed, they start out that way. But look, as the time goes on, how they begin to drift apart. One starts to move slightly faster than the other until they completely lose sync. So this is a little chaos machine, and people who study physics would probably explain it better. But here we have a system in which we have two objects that are doing exactly the same thing at exactly the same time. But since these threads are much probably not exactly the same length, and these objects do not exactly weigh the same, they will never move at the same time forever. There are super tiny variations, so minuscule, that over time they gradually become larger and larger. And eventually, it causes them to become completely out of tune. And the curious thing is that there is a musician called Steve Reich who observed this phenomenon and wanted to create a song based on it. The piece consists of two people clapping at a steady rhythm, but one of them begins to slightly alter the rhythm of her clapping, and they slowly start to drift out of sync. And over time, you realize a complete chaos that ensues among those claps. But the most beautiful thing about that is that even though it seems totally random at times, you still find small patterns and beautiful rhythmic movements throughout the composition that you suddenly begin to identify, and then they dissolve again into chaos. And I think that's beautiful. Okay, so where exactly am I going with all this? We have this idea that we have absolute control over everything, or that the pieces that we see and really like were created with complete intention, that everything is there because it's supposed to be there. But often, art also stems from chaos, randomness, and everything that is not under the control of the creator. And that doesn't mean they should make senseless things, because there's always a decision from the part of the artist that decides what stays and what goes. But that doesn't mean we cannot start from a little bit of chaos and randomness. I moved to another part of the park because there were many tourists passing by and I couldn't record my video. So yeah, let's continue. I just realized that I was talking for over 20 minutes and I wasn't recording, so I'm gonna start all over again. In the creative process, there are different levels of control that we can have over our final piece. Because, for example, a painter's only limitation is their physical or manual ability to transfer all their imagination to the canvas. But another example, a documentarist filmmaker often don't know where exactly or how far he will go with a film. They know where they're starting from, where they might want to go, or what topics they'd like to explore, but they don't really know what reality will throw at them. In painting, you have a lot of control over reality because you create it yourself. But in documentary filmmaking, you have very little control over it. And of course, that doesn't mean that documentary filmmakers are doing things randomly, or that they are just recording the first thing that come across their mind. And if they are not writing the documentary before filming, they are probably doing after filming, and that is when they sit down to edit the final piece. But if you think about it, it's like you're funneling some of the absolute chaos into reality until they reach to a point where you have some control, not over reality itself, but over what you've captured from reality. And I think it's wonderful and beautiful to know that there are things that you could have never imagined that life surprised you with. That all that chaos and trouble that you got yourself into ended up bringing out something that you probably couldn't have never thought of. If there is one thing that I've learned from all these pieces that come from randomness and chaos, is that even in these situations that you lack complete control over something and you think that everything is going terribly wrong, you can still do something and create something that is worth it. There is a quote that I once heard, and I don't remember where it comes from, but I really love that says, build the airplane while flying. And I think it perfectly captures all the sense of starting something new without having all the details figured out. Finding solutions as you go along and discovering paths that sometimes are more interesting than the original one. I'm not joking when I'm saying that I couldn't stand the cold outside, so I came back home. So you're probably wondering where am I going with all this, having to accept and taking advantage of all the chaos to our benefit. Life will offer us things far richer than we could ever imagine, but we have to know how to take advantage of them properly. And obviously, everything in life is just practice and more practice because you have to try a lot of times and make a lot of mistakes. So eventually, you have the ability and the intuition to discern between the chaos and how to use it to your advantage.
Hello.
Hi.
Are you a YouTuber?
Yes, trying to be.
Okay. Yeah, I wish you success and good luck with your channel. Hope
Thank you.
it's gonna grow into career or whatever you want.
I hope so. Thank you so much. You're so sweet. Thank you.
Yes.
Have a nice day.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, you too.
You too.
Bye.
Bye bye.